update for all the IPL fans has taken the internet by storm, and what's special on today's edition of Trending Today is Shankar Mahadevan's performance that he has sent specially for our viewers. Outcome is important, not wickets. That is CDS General Anil Chauhan as he uses cricket analogy to highlight India's military strategy. Chess prodigy Anvi, gets hero's welcome in Indigo flight, and that viral video is something that you certainly need to watch out for. Also on the show is details of Ayodhya Ram Temple Pran Pratishtha ceremony phase 2, and finally, Gujarati tourists perform Garba on street in Austria. The viral video has sparked mixed reaction. We are tracking this and a lot more for you on Trending Today with me, Tanisha Awasthi. As the sun sets over Ahmedabad's Narendra Modi Stadium tonight, the grand finale of the Indian Premier League's 18th season will go beyond cricketing excitement to feature a heartfelt musical tribute. Celebrated singer-composer Shankar Mahadevan, joined by his sons Siddharth and Shivam, will perform a moving homage to the Indian Armed Forces during the IPL 2025 closing ceremony.
Namaskar, this is Shankar.
This is Shivam.
And this is Siddharth.
And today we're here at the biggest stadium in India for the biggest match of the year, which is the IPL Final 2025.
But today is really special because we are going to be performing as a tribute to the armed forces. We're going to be singing a garland of melodies for them, and this is a way in which we Indians can offer our gratitude, our salutations and our appreciation for what the armed forces have done for us, will do for us and are doing for us.
They are the real heroes, and through our music, if we can even bring out a small smile, I think it will be a huge achievement for us. So we're really looking forward to this, and we are truly honored to be here and experience this magical moment.
कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं. अब तो हमें आगे बढ़ते हैं रहना, अब तो हमें साथी है बस इतना ही कहना. अब जो भी हो शोला बन के पत्थर है पिघलाना, अब जो भी हो बादल बन के पर्वत पर है छाना. कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं. भारत माता की जय.
What a beautiful tribute. Now, as Bengaluru prepares to take on Punjab in the IPL 2025 final, devoted fans of the Bengaluru-based team are going to great lengths and visiting every possible shrine in hopes of finally witnessing a long-awaited championship triumph. Now, in a season defined by close calls and bold gambles, Bengaluru and Punjab square off in the Indian Premier League finale at the Narendra Modi Stadium. The Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad to decide cricket's richest prize. Neither side has ever lifted the IPL trophy. Victory tonight will crown a first-time champion. RCB returned to a final after 9 years, powered by Virat Kohli's prolific run tally and Phil Salt's power play builds, while Rajat captaincy has galvanized their attack led by Josh Hazelwood and mystery spinner Suyash Sharma. Now, Punjab's resurgence is equally compelling. New captain Shreyas Iyer arrives on the back of an unbeaten 87 in qualifier 2 with Arshdeep Singh's Yokers and Kagiso Rabada's pace ready to test Bengaluru's batting depth. Head-to-head, the sides are level at 18 wins. A piece tonight breaks more than one deadlock. Joining me live on this is Himanshu from the digital news floor. Himanshu, first thing first, who are you supporting and who do you think has the edge this time?
Well, Tanisha, I will talk about my support later, but let me tell you, there is an electrifying atmosphere at the Narendra Modi International Stadium in Ahmedabad. Punjab they have won the toss and elected to bowl first on a pitch that looks like a belter. Anything in less than 230, 240 and Royal Challengers Bangalore would be struggling. Now, my favorite, obviously, RCB, because there is one trophy that's still elusive of Virat Kohli is the IPL. And 18 seasons have gone. Kohli has announced his retirement from Test cricket. This is one trophy he badly needs. And then there are players who define the game itself. Virat Kohli is one of them. And I think when they are batting first, that should be the only thing on their mind. Remember Phil Salt is back in the game. There was a lot of confusion pre-match whether he will make it or not. He was just blessed with a baby, but he is back in the game. And then this makes an exciting opening combination. Phil Salt and Virat Kohli, and if they can manage somewhere around 250 on a belter of a pitch, Punjab Kings 11, they have a match on. Also, I would like to tell you about the two captains, Tanisha, Rajat Patidar and Shreyas Iyer. They both are in prime form. They both have scored heavily. They have taken their team out of the woods on several occasions, and they both are first time into the IPL finale. So, cracker of a final match we are expecting tonight.
Well, absolutely, Himanshu. Like I was talking, like you rightly pointed, in fact, the two captains, all eyes will be, of course, on them. Talking about the captains, Himanshu, who do you think this time has an edge? Because none of the teams have picked the trophy yet.
I think Shreyas Iyer on that captaincy thing, one thing that he told right after winning the toss, he said we would have anyways bowled first. So that is something. Also, he is saying that it's a pressure that will be taken into account. He is not treating it as any other game. It's a final game, and then they know that you need to handle pressure well. Also, talking about Punjab Kings 11, I think they are also relying heavily on their bowlers, Kyle Jamieson and Arshdeep Singh. Yuzvendra Chahal will be the trump card. So I think it's the way you rotate your impact subs and how you handle the crucial 4-5 overs, the decisive 4-5 overs, somewhere around 16th over to 20th over is going to be the key today. Exciting. They're both captains. There's nothing to choose between the two captains. But if you will have to say like who holds the edge, I think Shreyas Iyer captaincy skills. He has shown a bit more calm and assurance on the ground.
Absolutely, Himanshu. I thank you on that note, and it's going to be an eager wait for all the IPL fans now. Speaking of cricket, ladies and gentlemen, Chief of Defence Staff Anil Chauhan drew a cricket analogy while addressing military losses from the India-Pakistan conflict after Operation Sindoor. Now, he stressed that the overall outcome holds greater significance than individual setbacks, comparing the victory to winning a test match by an Indian innings.
When I was asked about losses on our side, I said these are not important. The results and how you act is important. It would be not very correct to talk about losses. Means numbers, etc. I'll give a detailed kind of an answer on this. Usually in a match, suppose you go into a football match and you win 3-2. He scored 2 goals and you scored 4 goals. So that's an even child match. But suppose you go on in a test match, cricket test match, and you win by innings defeat. Then there's no question of how many wickets and how many balls and how many players. Since there is always this inquisitivity as to the result of your strikes, which was visible, which was a moral psychological domain and what was visible to us, all of us, not to us, to globally, everyone. So, based on technical parameters like electronic intelligence, signal intelligence, at some point of time, we will take out this particular data and share it with us to answer those queries and inquisitiveness of people like you who keep telling me how many aircraft did we destroy, how many radars did we destroy. So we'll make a rough assessment of that and come out with that shot.
Now, the comment has, of course, drawn reactions with netizens praising this unlikely yet strangely accurate analogy. The countdown begins for a historic leap in India's space journey as Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla prepares to become the first Indian astronaut to visit the International Space Station. Scheduled for launch on 8th of June 2025 as the pilot of AXIM Mission 4, also known as AX4, Shukla's mission marks India's return to human spaceflight after more than 40 years. He will command the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft on a 14-day mission, docking with the ISS and representing a new chapter in India's space ambitions. Hot off the plate and straight to your screens. Next segment is Hot Trends. India's D. Gukesh exemplified humility in victory after defeating Magnus Carlsen, one of the greatest chess players of all time. On Sunday, May 1st, Gukesh pulled off a major upset at Norway Chess 2025, overcoming the tournament's home favourite in what may be the biggest win of his career. Reflecting on the unexpected result, Gukesh admitted, and I quote, "I would lose 99 out of 100 times against Carlsen," calling it a lucky day for him.
This endgame, I was basically trying to get some kind of knight g5, and luckily after king f6, h4, I got this knight g5, and although his king comes to, king walk probably is winning, I have some spite checks, and yeah, I mean, okay, 100 times, 99 out of 100 times I would lose, but
But you didn't.
yeah, just a lucky day.
Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday congratulated World Chess Champion D. Gukesh on his first ever victory over Magnus Carlsen at the Norway Chess 2025 tournament. The win, which came in round 6 of the prestigious event, marked a major milestone in the young Grandmaster's career. A day after his surprising loss to D. Gukesh at Norway Chess, Magnus Carlsen acknowledged that the reigning world champion's energy and fighting spirit had earned him the victory. Carlsen, however, stated that under normal circumstances, he would have expected to win the match.
Like, I remember being that age myself, and sometimes kind of your energy, like fighting qualities and just optimism is sometimes, bigger than the quality of your moves. So I think for a long time he was just more or less blindly pushing, and then on a normal day, of course, I win that game, and things look quite differently. But what he does well, as I alluded to, is he really fights very, very well, and he was there to take his chance, so he deserves credit for that. But that's the kind of chance that I really, really have to put away. Otherwise, I have no chance.
As Bengaluru prepares for their most eagerly awaited match in 18 years, fans nationwide are sparing no effort to back their team's quest for the IPL trophy. In a unique and heartfelt gesture, a passionate supporter in Bengaluru resorted to an ancient ritual to ward off any bad luck that might hinder the team's success. Reflecting on her meeting with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Usha Vance described the experience as truly special. She shared a light-hearted moment, saying her children, upon seeing Modi's white beard and hair, immediately associated him with a grandfather figure.
That was really very special. We'd actually had a chance to meet him before. And it's funny, my kids saw him. They were sort of sleep deprived in Paris, and they saw an Indian man with a white beard and white hair, and they just put him in the grandfather category immediately. So they are very into him. They just love him. And he really cemented his status by giving our 5-year-old a birthday present that day. So when we were able to visit his home, they just sort of ran up, they were hugging him. He was just incredibly kind and generous to them.
Chess prodigy Anvi Deepak Hinge received a hero's welcome aboard an Indigo flight where returning from the Western Asian Youth Chess Championship. Now, this was held in Bangkok. The 8-year-old sensation clinched 6 medals at the tournament, 2 gold and 4 silver, held from April 20 to 29th. Now, in a now viral video, Anvi is seen already seated with an accompanying adult when the pilot makes a special announcement, proudly spotlighting her achievements. He says, and I quote, "This little girl is returning after becoming a world champion," unquote. She has just won the Western Asia Youth Chess Championship 2025.
A young girl, may I request you to stand up, please, if you are hearing me? Ladies and gentlemen, this young girl is returning after becoming the world champion. Just won the World Cadet and Youth Rapid Chess Championship 2025. Oh, I can hear the applause. That's great. Very good.
Fast, trendy and zippy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fast Takes. A disturbing incident has come to light in Noida Sector 53, where a young man was hit by a Mahindra Thar SUV driven in a fit of rage. The victim was thrown into a roadside drain, and the entire episode was captured on camera. The footage, now viral on social media, has sparked swift police action and renewed public concerns about the growing menace of road rage and street violence in the city. The passing out parade of Agniveers took place at the 39 Gorkha Training Center in Varanasi, marking the culmination of their intensive training under the Agnipath scheme. Now, the event highlighted the discipline, commitment and operational readiness of the newly inducted soldiers. Senior military officials and proud family members were present to witness and celebrate the achievements of these young recruits as they embarked on their journey of service to the nation. Shifting our focus to some breaking news coming in the upcoming Parliament session, we learned that the impeachment motion against Justice Yashwant Verma, who was involved in the biggest judicial scandal, will be brought. It is Union Minister Kiran Rijiju who will be speaking to all parties about this. Now, this is a huge development that has come to light. Remember, the Parliament monsoon session is just about to begin in a month's time. And amid this, we learned that the motion will be passed Kiran Rijiju, the Union Minister, will be speaking to all parties, taking them into confidence on this. The impeachment motion against Justice Yashwant Verma will be brought soon. This is via Government of India sources. Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor is joining me live on that. Abhishek, this is a huge development. Abhishek, that has come in, the impeachment motion against Justice Yashwant Verma, the same judge who was involved in the biggest judicial scandal.
Well, yes, it's a confirmation coming in from top sources in the government that this is going to happen. There were some ifs and buts. There were some unconfirmed reports, but now we are getting to hear that a decision has been taken by the government that they would bring in an impeachment motion indeed against Justice Yashwant Verma, for which an outreach is going to be made officially by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju. He would be connecting with the opposition benches, their respective leaders in both the houses, and most likely the motion would be brought in the Rajya Sabha, and then after its passing there would be taken to the Lok Sabha. Remember, for an impeachment motion to pass, there is a special majority needed in both the houses separately, and so it's important that all the parties are taken into confidence, are on the same page. In fact, opposition has also shown its intent otherwise that they might go with the government on this to fix accountability in the higher judiciary. And so the task itself of mustering the numbers might not be very difficult, Tanisha, but still a formal outreach is going to be made by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister with the respective floor leaders of the opposition parties, and the government, of course, very keen that accountability is fixed based on the report of the judiciary itself, and then, of course, whatever process comes out. Because remember, during the impeachment of a judge of the High Court or Supreme Court, there is an investigation that has to be carried out. So it's not just the report which is already there with the government, which in a way already recommends impeachment of Justice Verma based on whatever evidence they could gather. There would be another round of investigation and inquiry, which would be part of the impeachment process, following which the motion would be put to vote. So I think this is a significant development coming in ahead of the monsoon session of Parliament, which happens to be in the month of July. Still more than a month to go, but an in-principle decision having been taken is what we are getting to learn from sources in the government.
Well, absolutely, Abhishek. One more question, Abhishek, that I wanted to know from you is that once the impeachment motion is brought against Justice Yashwant Verma, what is the procedure that will be followed after? Because we learned that Union Minister Kiran Rijiju will be getting in touch with all the parties regarding the same.
All right, so the process is, so far as impeachment of a judge is concerned, Tanisha, that if it's moved in the Rajya Sabha, at least 50 MPs should be seconding it. If it is being moved in the Lok Sabha, at least 100 MPs should be, backing it. And once the motion is admitted, then it is over. An inquiry is ordered, an investigation is ordered, which is headed by a Supreme Court judge. And once that report comes in, the Parliament takes up that report. It is tabled in the Parliament. It takes up that report. Then a voting happens, and then with a special majority in both the houses separately, it should be passed. And subsequently, of course, the judge is considered impeached, following which, of course, the judge has to go. This process would be followed in this case also, beginning the monsoon session when the government wants to bring in the motion. And as I mentioned, an outreach is already being made, and the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju would be formally communicating this decision of the government to the opposition parties and ascertain the numbers. Should not be difficult, but still that process is going to be followed, is what we are getting to hear.
Well, absolutely, Abhishek. That will be the most awaited story of the day. We're tracking this story very closely. Thank you very much for joining us here on the broadcast. Well, viewers, that's all that we could pack in this edition of Trending Today. We will be back tomorrow with more trending stories. Coming up next after the break is Debate with Arnab.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं। कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
Mahi sir, how much do you love your fans?
Honestly, I love my new fans. पुराने वाले बेकार में शोर करते
सर फैंस है, शोर तो करेंगे ही ना।
नए वाले नहीं करते and they listen to what I say.
The new generation Orient BLDC fans. Super silent performance with voice control.
सिली में आए तो और
Cricket fans.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं.
Who's going to start now?
Okay, and go.
Namaskar, this is Shankar.
This is Shivam.
And this is Siddharth.
And today we're here at the biggest stadium in India for the biggest match of the year, which is the IPL Final 2025.
But today is really special because we are going to be performing as a tribute to the armed forces. We're going to be singing a garland of melodies for them, and this is a way in which we Indians can offer our gratitude, our salutations, and our appreciation for what the armed forces have done for us, will do for us, and are doing for us.
They're the real heroes, and through our music, if we can even bring out a small smile, I think it'll be a huge achievement for us. So we're really looking forward to this, and we are truly honored to be here and experience this magical moment.
कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं. अब तो हमें आगे बढ़ते हैं रहना, अब तो हमें साथी है बस इतना ही कहना. अब जो भी हो शोला बन के पत्थर है पिघलाना, अब जो भी हो बादल बन के पर्वत पर है छाना. कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं. भारत माता की जय.
And
I want to then perhaps also take it a little further, because there was a lot of talk happening that the nuclear sites were also being targeted. Was that true? Did we actually manage to at least come very close or somewhere close?
Okay, you remember what the DG Air Ops mentioned?
Thank you for telling us that Kirana Hill houses some nuclear installation. We did not know about it. Okay. And we've not...
International level, are you going to say that you targeted? Obviously you didn't target. It got hit, and it put a lot of fear and apprehension in the mind of the people there.
It's the biggest confirmation on Republic military advisor to Defence Ministry during Operation Sindoor confirms Pakistan's nuclear command center was hit.
You hit them so hard that they've got to reach out to you, so you've done your delivery of your arsenal very well. So I think that by itself, what did you hit, how quickly did you hit them, how hard you hit them.
Lieutenant General Kandare confirms Pakistan's nuclear facility getting hit was the biggest turning point. Fear gripped Pakistan. Pakistan admits large-scale damage. Internal dossier reveals more targets hit by India than revealed.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant students. Over 9,000 students with 90% plus in their 12th boards are currently at Amity, benefiting from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला.
Mahi sir, how much do you love your fans?
Honestly, I love my new fans. पुराने वाले बेकार में शोर करते
Sir, fans हैं शोर तो करेंगे ही ना?
नए वाले नहीं करते and they listen to what I say.
The new generation Orient BLDC fans. Super silent performance with voice control.
Silly me आए तो और
Cricket fans.
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IAHM.
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Gowami on the debate. Arnab Gowami on the debate.
On the show tonight, a huge revelation on Operation Sindoor. A big admission by the then principal advisor to the Ministry of Defence that we did touch Pakistan's nuclear base. At 9 o'clock tonight, while the Pakistani dossier, their document admits that India hit not one, not two, not five, but many more of their targets, that it was a precise and deep hit. At the start of the program, I want to talk a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, about a huge bit of information that came into our studios when we did an interview with Lieutenant General Vinod G. Kandare. Now, Lieutenant General Vinod G. Kandare is with us this evening from Bengaluru. Good evening, sir. It's a pleasure to have you. And I was watching your interview, and it gives us a big talking point for tonight. So there he is, General Kandare. And let me introduce him. He is and has been, till a few days back, till the 16th, in fact, he has been principal advisor to the Raksha Mantri at the Minister of Defence. So he had a completely inside view on what happened during Operation Sindoor. In the course of an interview that he has done, where we get a sense of the insider story of what happened during Operation Sindoor, General Kandare revealed to Shravan Sen, our senior editor, that India did hit, and I repeat the words, that India did hit nuclear bases in Pakistan. He didn't specify the date, but he said we did hit it. Shravan asked him, did you target the nuclear bases? To which he said, I'm never going to admit, and we are obviously not going to say that we targeted the nuclear bases, but he said that in the process of hitting Pakistan, we did end up hitting the nuclear bases as well. And then he went on to say, when he was asked, that this made Pakistan extremely nervous and shaky, and in his words, it put a lot of fear and a lot of apprehension in Pakistan. And as a result of this fear and apprehension, this, in his view, the hitting of the nuclear bases was the turning point in Operation Sindoor, when we got a completely upper hand over the Pakistanis. Now, viewers, see the significance of this statement. It is the first time ever that anybody who has been part of the operating team during Operation Sindoor, right there in the Ministry of Defence, has said that we did hit a nuclear base. And he has said that this was a turning point. And no, we are not putting words in General Kandare's mouth. We could never do that. And that's why we've called him live, and we can talk in more detail about it.
What are the questions which emerge from this statement? This admission, if I were to use the word admission, implicitly confirms India's strike on Pakistan's nuclear sites. Till tonight, till we broke this story, this entire issue had a sense of perceived ambiguity. You would hear about it, these visuals were put out there, we knew what happened at Noor Khan Air Base, we knew what happened at Kirana Hills, but there was no official confirmation. As usual, Republic is here before you with the most important official confirmation on this matter. That, and presumably in the early hours of 10th of May, we hit Pakistan's nuclear sites. Now remember that orange cloud that you're seeing on your screen. Remember the unknown explosion. Remember the theories about a seismic event. Remember the news about American experts flying down, boron being brought in, the tunnel which had the nuclear bases, and now you know that that was not a piece of fiction. It was not written in the newsrooms of Republic. It did happen. At a strategic level, what does this signify? It signifies an incredible amount of political commitment in India. Incredible amount of political commitment to hit Pakistan and make Pakistan suffer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big story. It is the lead story of the day. And we have the newsmaker joining us right on the other side.
Thank you for telling us that Kirana Hill houses some nuclear installation. We did not know about it. Okay. And we've not hit Kirana Hills, whatever is there. Okay. I did not brief in my briefing yesterday. Thank you.
This was Air Marshal A.K. Bharti's first response when asked whether India has hit Pakistan's nuclear sites. It was a denial, but the smile did leave the room for speculation. 21 days later, the first ever confirmation has come.
There was a lot of talk happening that the nuclear sites were also being targeted. Was that true? Did we actually manage to at least come very close or somewhere close?
Okay, you remember what the DG Air Ops mentioned? In fact, a media person asked him that, did you target? And he said, you tell me. So obviously at the international level, are you going to say that you targeted? Obviously you didn't target. It got hit and it put a lot of fear and apprehension in the mind of the people there as to what is the condition.
Was that the turning point?
Possibly, yes. Possibly, yes.
We did not target. It got hit. These are the words coming directly from the military advisor to Defence Minister during Operation Sindoor. The former Deputy National Security Advisor, Lieutenant General Vinod Kandare. He is one of India's foremost strategic mind, having worked very closely with National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. The speculation has now been put to rest. Pakistan's nuclear facility at Noor Khan was hit but not targeted. This explains Pakistan's next steps. Listen in why Pakistan panicked, got on their knees and begged for ceasefire.
So if you've hit very valuable targets, so you've chosen your targets well.
Right.
If you hit them so hard that they've got to reach out to you, so you've done your delivery of your arsenal very well. So I think that by itself, what did you hit? How quickly did you hit them? How hard you hit them?
For those who kept raising questions on the ceasefire, this is another confirmation of how a panicked and distraught Pakistan called India.
They reached out to us and they said enough. So we said, okay, if you've learned a lesson, that's all right.
We would not stop if Pakistan had not begged for the ceasefire.
What I meant to ask, were we stopping there? Had Pakistan not dialed United States of America, then would India have stopped?
No.
India's policy during the entire conflict has been measured and calibrated. While we did demolish terror dens, we did not begin the targeting of military installations. The strike on Pakistan's air bases came as a response to Pakistan's swarm of armed drones which targeted at least 15 Indian cities. Since the commencement of Operation Sindoor, Pakistan is trying very hard to keep a strong face. But India's military doctrine has now changed.
आतंक के विरुद्ध भारत की लक्ष्मण रेखा अब एकदम स्पष्ट है। अब फिर कोई टेरर अटैक हुआ तो भारत जवाब देगा, पक्का जवाब देगा। दुनिया भी भारत के इस नए रूप को, इस नई व्यवस्था को समझते हुए ही आगे बढ़ रही है।
Pakistan knows that business as usual is no more the norm. New India has zero tolerance for Pakistan's terror tactics. New India does not forgive. New India knows how to punish the perpetrators in their own homes.
And this is a very important conversation today, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're watching this at home or on streaming, you can ask others to also come in. I have with me Lieutenant General Kandare. Lieutenant General Kandare has held various important positions in the Indian Army and has till recently, till a few days back, been the military advisor, the principal advisor to the Ministry of Defence during Operation Sindoor, which obviously has given him a very important operational role, advisory role, and more than a ringside view. General Kandare, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. I hope you can hear me clearly, sir.
Yes, Arnab, good evening. Jai Hind to all your viewers. I can hear you clearly.
Jai Hind, sir. Sir, I'll come straight to the point. Did we hit Pakistan's nuclear facilities during Operation Sindoor? Did we hit their nuclear facilities or nuclear bases or nuclear storage hubs?
You know, Arnab, we are strategic analysts. You know, when we do analysis, we do it in a manner that we join the dots. Every possible input, whatever we get, and our analysis leads us to an assessment, which is up to the event and even subsequent to the event. So when I say what made me conclude this, I want to tell you, whatever happened on that night, I want to take you a step ahead. Can we do that?
Let's do that. We have all the time, sir. We have all the time, but I would request my team to not just mention that you're a defense expert, but that you have been till recently, the principal advisor to the MOD. Please continue, sir. Please. Yes, sir.
I'll walk you through, Arnab, and your viewers to understand the psychology of Pakistan military leaders, and that will give you an insight as to how they behave. Now, my first point here is, you look at the history. Whenever a Pakistani military leader has failed, he has got promoted. Now, take for example, there was a coup, Field Marshal Ayub Khan. Then you look at this Pervez Musharraf, he becomes the head of the state. And now this person, on 12th, we had that heinous crime. 22nd, we had that heinous crime. Prior to that, on 17th, he had given a hate speech about India to the diaspora of Pakistan and telling them that the two-nation theory holds good. And he had also amplified to say that if we are going to adopt or adapt to the Western civilization, then why the hell did we create a Pakistan? You go into the mind of this man and you'll realize what I'm trying to tell you. Now, this was on 17th, on 22nd, this happened. 26th, this man goes to Kakul and he's telling the young minds there that this two-nation theory and how India needs to be tackled. There is no thought, there is no compassion, there is no sense of emotion to say that civilians, tourists have been killed on the other side of the line of control. Then after this kind of a military disgrace or a failure that he goes through, I am sure he goes and tells the stooges that are there in the political hierarchy that better promote me so that the failure can be turned into a victory. And the only thing that combines the population of Pakistan is Hate India campaign. Now all that together, if let us say, I am saying hypothetically, if he had not done this, history would have remembered him as a failure. So he has diverted the attention very carefully and taken it as a victory. And this is the psychology of military incompetence of Pakistan leaders. When you join the dots, you realize that how big a failure could have been inscribed in their history. And he's turned it by just getting himself the field marshal's post, the coveted post. And he hasn't quit from the chief of army staff post, which Ayub Khan had done earlier. So please join all the dots in the cognitive domain and you'll understand why. It's not what, it is why. You have to understand why it is being done like this.
So I go back to the issue when we were hitting Pakistan. When we hit them, we first hit them on the 6th, 7th morning. We hit them on 8th and then we hit them on 9th, late night, 10th, early morning. In that period, they had the option of not hitting back, but they continued their drone strikes and they had a few unsuccessful attempts at sending PL-15 missiles and trying to target our air bases in different areas. When you said to Shravan that we didn't target the nuclear bases, but they got hit. How do we conclude, sir, that they got hit? Because what are the points of information we have which lead us to the conclusion that they possibly got hit?
You know, Arnab, the first part you covered when you introduced the topic, when you said what was happening there, the kind of rectification measures that were done. So you join the dots, you know, you will come to the conclusion yourself. You join the dots that somebody rings up our DGMO, and our DGMOs are officers of the highest caliber and character. And he tells him that, look, we've got to stop. For the previous 2 days, where was the Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan? Was he traceable? It is very natural to assume that he was in his command post because we had been targeting so accurately. So the point is, you have to keep joining the dots, analyze and come to an assessment. And thereafter, when information started trickling in, leading to a thinking that something drastic has happened, there could have been something which triggered the seismic tremors. Seismic tremors only in that area? Why not elsewhere? Why only after that hit? You know, we have to keep asking ourselves questions and we have to come to deductions. When all this news that came up about a plane coming from Egypt and the kind of possibility that something has gone wrong there, that was in the fog of war. In the fog of war, nobody is able to say anything. It is only after you sit down, you join the dots and you realize what is the psyche of the person, whether to admit failure? No. Pakistani general will never accept a failure. You remember Niazi just one day before surrender, what bravado he was displaying? So whenever you are looking at your adversary, you have to look at the entire background that you have. We talk about a background intelligence, legacy data. and the current part, and thereafter you do a very careful analysis and assessment.
Now the Noor Khan Air Base near Chaklala, in Chaklala near Rawalpindi, is critical to the airlift operations, strategic airlift operations, and it is near the headquarters of the Pakistan Strategic Plans Division, which oversees the country's nuclear arsenal. So when we targeted this strike, when we targeted this area very specifically down to a meter, so obviously we knew, did we not know that this is very important from the nuclear point of view? We would have had that information with us.
When we choose targets, I must compliment the Chief of Air Staff and his staff, the Director General of Air Operations. It's well. So if
it is not what we had originally intended to hit something and hit it hard. And that is the thing I would say. I would give full marks to the our officers that they planned everything well. And if what Pakistan may not have declared their location, but we possibly thought it to be a conventional target, and it went into their nuclear arsenal, or it possibly damaged something, may not have hit the stockpile. But obviously our targets, when we chose, we did not choose a nuclear target.
We did not choose a nuclear target.
But we knew there was a nuclear facility there, or a nuclear control center there.
A nuclear control center is different from a stockpile, you know. A nuclear control center is where all the mechanism is there, the communications are there, the shelter is there, all that is a part of the command and control center. And even the command and control center is extremely important because the communications at any stage should not get damaged. So the command control center is equally important. It's a vital objective.
So we by hitting Chaklala, we decapitated their nuclear command, or made it dysfunctional for a while?
Whether we made it dysfunctional or not would be based on the response that we got from them, that they wanted a ceasefire.
So the fact that they wanted a ceasefire indicates that their nuclear command center was hit and they had lost control.
That's exactly what I am implying, Arnab, that when we have to read everything and their actions or reactions, it leads you to a conclusion. That's what exactly I have been telling you.
But Kirana Hills was where they kept their nuclear arsenal, and that was also hit. That is where it was believed to be a storage depot.
Again, the point here is every year there is a disclosure to the International Atomic Energy Agency as to where these stockpiles are, what is their security, there is a proper audit that is done. So that part, okay, that is there, but Kirana Hills is okay, but exactly to the meter, we did not definitely aim at that.
So we didn't aim at a nuclear stockpile, but we could have hit it.
That's possible. That's highly possible.
That's highly possible. So we knew that because there was talk of an orange cloud, boron being sent, a sense of, there was loss of information for a while, and then the desperate calls for a ceasefire. So if I connect the dots here, General Kandare, we hit Kirana Hills. Okay, technically we did not target their nuclear base, but their nuclear storage, their nuclear command could have been hit. And then you say they became nervous after that.
And that nervousness, how it gets translated thereafter, and in the beginning itself I told you what is the kind of actions that their leadership took. That was a very quick cover-up, I must say. That was a very quick cover-up. Within days, within days. Because, Pakistan will fall apart if Pakistan army is not supported by the people. And the people had started rebelling against the army. You just take your mind back to the last 2 years or since the time Imran Khan is in jail. And this was the time when the top leadership there realized that if this military failure gets to the people, then obviously there is no survival for the military or whatever is of the political hierarchy which is in power today. The entire thing would have collapsed because of the wrath of the people. And they did a quick cover-up and they did a quick demonstration of a victory which was based on total falsehood.
Now let's go back.
And that's exactly when you take yourself ahead. You realize what kind of a cover-up and what kind of a brain they have.
I want to take you back because I am very interested in the nuclear issue. Following these strikes and around the time of these dates were the time when Shahbaz Sharif called an emergency meeting of the National Command Authority, which is the supreme decision-making body for nuclear weapons. They never accepted this meeting happened. But now I'm connecting the dots where you're saying we didn't hit the nuclear sites. We didn't target them, but they could have got hit. We didn't target them, but they could have got hit. And then there was this sense of panic in Islamabad. And America got in quite actively. Possibly Pakistan called America and said, our nuclear storage has been compromised. We've lost temporarily control of our nuclear command. You must do something. Was that the situation which emerged on the 10th?
The panic in the leadership, as you explained, Arnab, what is the leadership that we are looking at? There is a perpetual panic always in their political leadership, so leave that aside. But if there is a panic in the military leadership, that is something very serious. And that's exactly what happened.
So they panicked because it was obviously related to a possible nuclear hit. I personally think, General Kandare, and now I will welcome General G.D. Bakshi into this conversation, people who you know, and Lieutenant General Raj Shukla as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an incredibly important conversation, General Bakshi and General Shukla, because General Kandare has been in the MOD when it happened. He was an advisor to Raksha Mantri till a few days back, so he was in the inner circle. I first want General Bakshi and General Bakshi, your take on how you're reading the information. Obviously, I understand. I completely, viewers also understand this. There are things that General Kandare cannot say because he was in an operating role during Operation Sindoor. But he's indicating pretty much on the lines that you said, General Bakshi, isn't he? What he's sharing with us tonight. And it will make headlines because we are saying we possibly hit their nuclear weapons, nuclear arsenal, or where they were stored or where they were controlled from. And it's a very big move. It's a very decisive move from India's perspective, historically.
Arnab, you may recall that it was on your channel that I had first said that sources, open sources intelligence clearly indicates the probability that nuclear storage sites for the storage of warheads have been hit, not just in the Kirana Hills near Sargodha, but also in the Chagai Hills near Jacobabad. Jacobabad is the base where the F-16 fighters are, many of which have been modified for toss bombing, right? And again, you have the missile regiment, which is tactical ballistic missile regiment. Their warheads are stored in the Kirana Hills, right? And at the Noor Khan Air Base itself is the location of their nuclear command post, the so-called National Command Authority, right? Now, whether we hit it by design and accident, I'm not sure, but the fact of the matter is that all these three were hit. There is the chain of corroborative evidence. You know, the chain of corroborative evidence is that on the very morning of the 10th, the US nuclear Energy Authority. They have their nuclear warning aircraft, the Beechcraft B350.
Yeah.
We even have the number that was assigned to it for the flight path, etc.
Correct.
It flew over the Chagai Hills, it flew over the Kirana Hills, it landed at Noor Khan.
Yes, sir.
Immediately thereafter, we get the next news that the IL-76 from Egypt, carrying the boron-10 isotope. Don't forget that the Nile Delta is full of the boron-10 isotope is available there. That landed, followed a zigzag path over these kind of sites and was there for the whole day, right? So, if you put this circumstantial evidence together, and let me go a little back, 10th morning.
Yes, sir.
10th morning, we get the news that a Shaheen 2 missile with a 750 kg warhead has been fired. It is heading in the direction of Delhi, right? Now, 750 kg means it could be a nuclear warhead, it could be a conventional warhead. So, I can just presume what went on in the operations control room when they found this missile heading. We couldn't wait to find out whether it was a conventional tipped missile or it was a nuclear tipped missile.
Correct.
Right? It would have been too late to find out when it exploded.
Right,
so
right.
Quite obviously, the first decision was to get it down any which way possible. I am given to understand that 2 S-400s were fired. And they are the ones that have a kinetic hit. We saw over Chandigarh in that area, not really Chandigarh, but after that a meteorite shower captured by a number of motorists. That happens when there is a kinetic hit on a warhead. In all probability, it was a conventional warhead because I don't think Pakistan would have dared. But could our decision makers have taken that risk? Because there was the Fateh 2 missile also heading. And we are told this one was heading for Amritsar, probably the Golden Temple.
Yeah.
So I don't think any prudent leadership in India would have waited for that to happen. It may have been possible that decisions may have been taken that night. We will never know. But decisions were taken then to tackle the command.
We would not know officially, but
the command and control nerve center for nuclear.
We would never know officially.
Officially, no. But Tom Cooper.
But this is the closest we can get to it. Even more than Tom Cooper.
Has corroborated.
Even more than Tom Cooper, General Bakshi, General Kandare was in the Ministry of Defence as advisor, principal advisor in the Ministry of Defence when this happened. So this is the closest that we can get to a confirmation that we possibly hit the nuclear sites. Now, it is difficult for me to do this, General Kandare, but I'm going to ask General Raj Shukla to analyze what you have said there.